Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mahjong Talk. I'm your host, Peter Vong. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of my latest videos. Okay, so let's get started. So today I want to talk to you guys about your shadow, or in another case, the side of you that you wish to repress because, it might interfere with, stuff in your daily life, like, work, or possibly, dealing with your family or dealing with with your friends or something like that. And we have to first define what the shadow is. So the shadow, I'm not talking about your literal physical shadow, the dark thing that emanates when light hits you. I'm talking about basically parts of yourself that you kind of keep hidden away because either they reveal the negative parts about yourself, but at the same time it kind of acts as like this thing where it kind of protects you from being vulnerable in a way. So for instance, your shadow is basically all your flaws, as well as all the insecurities that you have, such as if you feel like you don't have a good singing voice, your shadow is the one that basically is I would have to say exemplifies what that trait is. So basically you're not a good singer, or you're not as good looking or something like that. All that is gathered into your shadow. And the thing of it is that it's the parts of yourself that you kind of don't like, whether it be physical or whether it be your personality, parts of your personality that you wish that wasn't there. For me, parts of my shadow is that it's hard for me to walk up and just talk to random strangers. I think we all have that type of flaw, that type of nervousness to social awkwardness. And there's also shadows that basically tell you, or basically kind of remind you that, oh, you're not as good looking as, say, this person from Instagram, or you're not as good looking as this movie star, or something like that. All these type of things, that's what the shadow is. The shadow is basically your flaws, as well as the insecurities, as well as probably the big contributor of that negative voice in your head that basically tells you you're not this or not that and all that stuff. So what is the good thing about the shadow? The good thing about the shadow is that it protects us from, kind of being delusional about, certain things in life. And the thing of it is that what I mean by delusional is that you can't get anywhere without working hard for it. That's one thing. I mean, some people can, but they have to have the connections. So basically you can't get anywhere on your own. That's some people think they can, but some people think they can't. Some people that have succeeded in being entrepreneurs, or creating their own business, or creating passive income that has allowed them not to work a full-time job, they will tell you that they probably did not get there on their own. They got there through the collaboration of others helping them along the way. And the thing of it is that what is it that your shadow's telling you guys? And I think basically the shadow needs to be listened to at times, but also it has to be monitored. So the thing is that I try to look at what my shadow's telling me. At the same time, I also try to look at what the universe is kind of telling me. Now, I know when I say that, it sounds all mumbo jumbo, cryptic nonsense, but at the same time, sometimes you got to trust the universe at times. And I know for people that want control in their life, they can't really do that. They feel like they have to constantly control every single thing that happens in their life. But you can't control everything. It's like that. It's what you learn from being street smart is that once you pay with money or cash, it's no longer in your hands. So once money leaves you, it's in the hands of someone else. So for instance, if you were to go to a bank and put your money into a bank account, your money is no longer yours because it's in a company or an institution that's supposed to keep your money safe in there. So the thing of it is that you can't control everything, and you're gonna need to trust somebody one way or the other. And there will be times when you make missteps. So listening to your shadow also protects you, but it can also disable you in some ways. And the thing of it is that what can we do to make sure that our shadow does not do that? It helps us in the times that we do need it, and it needs to be monitored when it's kind of preventing us from going further in our own lives. And that's really hard to do, because you have to basically know exactly what battles to kind of like protect yourself from and which battles to actually go forward with. Now, when I say battles, I don't mean like, you know, like getting into a fight with somebody or something like that. I mean like basically like, you know, say you wanted to, like, for instance, let's take my example. Say if I see someone that I would like to, you know, engage with, like, you know, say some, like, a woman that I'm attracted to. I have the choice to either listen to my shadow that basically says, no, don't go talk to her. She's gonna, it's gonna be awkward. You're not gonna know what to say and all that stuff. And there will be a logical part of my brain that says like, well, if you don't do it, then, you know, the thing of it is that like, you never know. You never know if she's gonna like, you're gonna make a new friend, or, you know, you never know if she could be like the one that, you know, and you end up meeting and then like, you know, you end up dating for a while or something like that. Like, it's those small things. And because of those small things, the shadow can psych ourselves out. And the thing of it is that the shadow will constantly remind you about the things that you're not good at. It would also remind you of how basically, like, you know, like your looks, the way you hold yourself, the clothes you're wearing. You're gonna, the shadow makes you more conscious of what you are at that current state as well. So sometimes that's when the shadow kind of interferes with what you want, or what you wish to pursue. So it's really a hard thing to do, like to basically know what the shadow is trying to protect you from something that could be dangerous, or knowing what knowing the times when the shadow is preventing you from getting something that you probably can grow from. But the truth of the matter is that you're in control of the shadow. The shadow doesn't control you. And the thing of it is that this is the point where people would say you have to make yourself your own best friend. Because, like, if your best friend was, like, really down, you would basically try to calm them down by comforting them and being compassionate. You wouldn't really, like, talk down on your friend when they're, like, you know, like, down for the count, unless you're a really crappy friend. But, you know, there's some friends that basically give, like, a very stern pep talk. Like, you know, they try to be like that coach. And, you know, sometimes their words are not compassionate. Sometimes their words are more of kind of like pushing you because they don't like it when you're sad, you know, because like there's some people that try to because like, you know, the people that love us, they love us in different ways, and sometimes the ways that they're kind of loving us is something that we're not used to. So, you know, sometimes the shadow can also prevent that from happening. Like, you know, like say if your friend gives you a lot of tough advice and you feel like you're not in the mood to listen to it right now, so like the shadow is basically telling you is like, oh, this person's not a good friend because they constantly make you feel bad when they're supposed to be helping you feel better, all that stuff. And that's really hard to do. It's really hard to do, to tell the shadow like, yo, I know what you're trying to do, but, you know, just quiet down for a minute. I need to focus on me right now. You know, like focus on actually doing something that I haven't done before. And I think the shadow basically is the thing that prevents us from getting out of our comfort zone, because I know I've gotten used to that too. And, you know, it's basically like it's basically like people don't want to be like, they don't want to like actually like constantly think about what they're doing, especially when it comes to getting out of their comfort zone. They wish it was just automatic, like basically they just do it and then suddenly it just like that's it. But unfortunately, we're still conscious human beings. So the thing of it is that we still have to make conscious decisions. And it's really hard because we don't know exactly how to conduct ourselves, like to get out of our comfort zone, like automatically. Some people would say like there's many ways to do it, but I suppose like most people would say like just do the thing, like because like whenever I talk to my friends about like this issue, when it comes to me like wanting to approach like a woman that I'm attracted to, they would basically just say like don't think about it, just do it. And you know, like it's like that commercial like from Nike, it's like just do it. You know, that sort of thing. And yeah, then sometimes that's what all you have to do. But sometimes it's really hard for people to get out of that lock because, you know, many people say this phrase, and I sometimes get tired of hearing this phrase because as an INFJ, it kind of hinders me when I hear it. If you don't know what an INFJ is, it's basically part of the Myers-Briggs psychology test, or personality test, I should say. And I will get to that a little bit later, but the truth of the matter is that they say be yourself. But there are some people that don't know how to do that because it's not like they're trying to hide under a facade or anything. It's like being yourself means being part of the group. And the thing of it is that if you have really a lot of empathy and a lot of intuitive feelings about how people are, you kind of feel like being yourself is like the not best advice, because you want to be the person that's kind of like I would have to say like the person that the other person needs, and you kind of do that by basically just talking with them and engaging with them. But sometimes like some people don't know how to be themselves because the way that they are is basically how others are kind of expecting them to be, if that makes any sense. So for me, as an INFJ, like getting back to that, I'm the type of person that basically would like, I would engage with somebody and I would basically talk to them for a while, and I would probably develop their mannerisms. I would basically like adapt to who they are as a person. And because I adapt to who they are as a person, I wouldn't say my personality changes. It's more like my personality kind of like morphs into or shapes itself into what the person needs at that current moment. So say if I'm in a crowd filled with a lot of people that are sarcastic and very bombastic, I would have to adapt to that energy. But if I'm like in a group of friends where basically I would have to be like, you know, more like reserved and more like, I guess, more thoughtful about who they are, then I basically adapt that. And the thing of it is that that's kind of also a part of my shadow, because it's sort of like I have to tend to others' needs before my own. And sometimes, like, as a person, as a human being, you have to have those selfish times where you basically think about who you are and what it is that you're going to do. And sometimes, like, the shadow is the thing that kind of not prevents you from doing stuff, but kind of like tells you, it's kind of like a protective mechanism that basically protects you from going too far, but it can also prevent you from going further within your own path. So how should we view the shadow? We view the shadow as that just another friend that basically is there. You can listen to it, but just analyze what it's trying to tell you. And when I say analyze, I mean like just reflect on the words that the shadow's using, such as like example is you're not good enough. And when you hear the words you're not good enough, you will get the why, and usually the shadow will tell you the why. And when you hear the why, sometimes you could basically say, okay, that kind of makes a little sense, or you can basically think about it and basically like, no, that's ridiculous, and just do the thing anyway. Because the thing of it is that life is not about what you're good at. Life is about the choices you make. And the choices you make are very important, because that's what allows you to guarantee, that's what guarantees you to live a better life, or live a life in general. Nice. Okay, now we're in East 3. Yeah, because the thing of it is, guys, like, living a life, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. And I'm not talking about a life just like, you know, like where you just basically work and pay the bills and such. I'm talking about life, like a life that's worth living. Because we all want to live a life without regrets, and we all want to live a life where we progress further. But there's always that little voice in our head, our shadow, that basically tells us, like, no, you can't do this because you're going to humiliate yourself, you're going to embarrass yourself, you're going to cause, like, so many problems. And, like, why do you want to deal with that? Why do you want to deal with those problems? But it's not like the shadow is trying to be mean and basically say, you can't do this. It's more like the shadow's like, dude, you remember the last time you did that? You kind of screwed up. And do you remember how many people got mad at you because of that? It's sort of like the overprotective parent. And the thing of it is that, like, you know, that's what the shadow is. The shadow is sort of like your mental protective parent, overprotective parent. It's trying to prevent you from actually, you know, like, being hurt again. And that's fine, but at the same time, like, it can be a little obsessive. And, you know, you just have to basically have that voice in your head, another voice in your head that basically says, like, you know, Shadow, I know what you're doing, and I know what you mean, but, you know, I'm good. I'm good. I'll do it. And sometimes I don't do that to myself, for myself as well. So, like, you know, me making this video, I'm basically trying to, like, give this unconscious message. It's like, okay, what did I say to, like, you guys? And then I have to reflect on that. And soon you guys will probably give me advice too. You know, like, a lot of you guys have given me advice. Like, you guys have joined the Discord, and sometimes, like, I talk to you guys on different Discord servers, and basically you guys give me this, probably the same advice I would probably be giving you guys as well. So, you know, it's like, you know, sometimes, like, the lessons that I learned, I haven't reinforced them enough, and I have to do a review on that. And sometimes my shadow reminds me of that. It's like, didn't you learn this from, like, didn't you not learn from this? Didn't you not learn your lesson from this? And, you know, sometimes the shadow can also lead you to understanding why you have deeper issues. Like, and the thing of it is that it's not a bad thing, by all means. The shadow can also enlighten you on stuff that you probably haven't thought of for years. And sometimes it could be a bit of a trip, and sometimes it could be like a rewarding experience of epiphany. Then you realize that you see a deeper truth about yourself that you never realized that was there before. Sorry about that. And yeah, and the thing of it is that you guys have your own journeys to go on. And your shadow will always be with you. Your shadow will always be shouting at you. Your shadow will always be compassionate to you. Because it's a part of you. The only thing you have to do is, like, know when to listen to the shadow when it's being wise. And know when to listen to the shadow when it's being paranoid. Because the shadow itself is you. And the shadow itself shares all of your personality traits. So the thing of it is that basically, not only do you have to make your shadow your best friend, you also have to make your shadow morph into you. Because you'll probably do stuff that your shadow didn't expect you to do. And then you realize how far you've grown, and then your shadow will basically like, oh, you did this part. You actually did this, so I think you're good. I think you're good. I think you can do this. And the thing of it is that it also goes back to the thing where people view as confidence. And, you know, like, a lot of people would say, oh, I love someone with confidence. But the truth of the matter is that we don't know what confidence is. People have this really broad way of looking at confidence. It's like, oh, this person is determined. This person knows what they're doing. At the same time, I feel as if when we talk about confidence, I think we're talking about many different things. It's like when you talk about happiness, like, people think happiness is just a smile. when in actuality it could be a mixture of different emotions. It could be like every single emotion. So the thing of it is that I think when it comes to your shadow, it's an amalgamation of so many things, such as your inner darkness, your your insecurities, your basically like all the stuff that you kind of hid away because you feel like no one's going to accept it. But it's also constructed of everything that makes you confident in a way, so-called confident, as I should say. Like, you know, it makes you feel like you're adequate in certain ways. Like, you know, the things that you love to do, the things that you've grown to appreciate, your hobbies, your personality quirks, all that other stuff. Because the shadow is you. It's practically you. The only thing is that you're kind of separating what society is wanting you to be versus what you are meant to be as an individual. So the shadow is just a part of yourself that's kind of like stuck in the middle, where it's like, I have to monitor how people perceive me, but at the same time, I also have to be true to who I am. And that's really hard to manage. It's always hard to manage stuff like that because, you know, people worry that if they be themselves all the time, that they're going to be a hindrance to everyone else. Like, you know, it's one of those like individuals that basically say, like the pandemic, for example, some people didn't want to wear a mask. And when there was a mask mandate, some people were protesting and basically didn't wear a mask. And, you know, like that's fine for them to do. But at the same time, they couldn't avoid the negative connotation that kind of came with that. Not only were they at risk of getting sick from COVID, but also they also had to take the consequences of people looking at them negatively. And I think that's what people want to avoid more than just the disease or virus. It's the negative connotation from society. That's the one thing that I think a lot of people kind of want to avoid. And, you know, like people can do two things. They can accept the rules of society and follow along with it, or they can argue against it and not follow it. And the thing of it is that as a person, you're not going to follow every single rule that society throws at you. And also, you're not going to actually like succumb to every single inept desire that you have inside you. So that's what the shadow comes in. And the shadow basically prevents you from actually going over the line. But sometimes it can go too far and make you feel as if you're insignificant based on what you are as a person. So sometimes you actually have to like shift the shadow back. So the shadow is like a gauge. It's like a gauge. So basically you have to move the shadow in and out on different sides. And that's hard to do because you have to constantly manage your shadow. It is like a best friend, but it's sort of like a pet in a way, because like you feed it, you know, you give it water, you basically nurture it. And I think that's what people don't do with their shadows, is that they don't nurture it. And when you don't nurture your shadow basically is still like a bit of a child in a way. So I think what I want you guys to take away from this is that not only accept your shadow as your friend, but also know how to nurture it. Because we nurture each other like in our physical bodies. So we have to learn to nurture like all parts of ourselves, especially like the part that actually will allow us to make decisions. And usually the shadow plays a part in that. You can't avoid that. Okay, so I'm in first place, guys. Nice. Okay, so let me just go to my just chatting screen here. Yeah, okay. Okay, guys. I hope you like what you saw. If you like what you saw, consider hitting a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of my latest videos. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to engage a game with me or any of my friends, or maybe join us on the live streams like from time to time, you can join us on the Newbridge Discord server. The link is in the description below. All the links will be in the description down below. And if you want to catch the Twitch live streams, I stream from Monday and Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as Saturdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I believe that will be all for today, guys. And as I always say to you guys at the end of every video, everyone is precious. You guys are just as precious as everyone else. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.